So, a huge new report just landed, and it's set to decide how trillions of rupees get divided up across India for the next 5 years. It's called the 16th Finance Commission Report, and, while that might sound kind of dry, trust me, it's about to completely reshape the financial game between the central government and every single state. So, let's get into it and figure out what's really going on here.
At its heart, this whole thing, led by Dr. Arvind Panagria, asks a pretty radical question. Should states be rewarded for their actual performance instead of just getting handouts? Now, this isn't just some bean-counting exercise. No way. It's a fundamental shift in the power dynamic between the center and the states for the next 5 years.
All right, so let's dive into the big question first. How much of the center's tax money are the states actually going to get? You might be expecting some big, dramatic change, but that's where we run into the first, illusion of this whole report.
At first glance, it looks like business as usual. The commission says states should get 41% of the central tax pool, the exact same number as the last time. But that headline number, it's kind of misleading. See, the real story isn't about how big the pie is. It's all about the brand new recipe for how we're going to slice it up.
Yeah, think about it like this. The total amount of money for the household hasn't changed, but the rules for who gets what allowance have been completely torn up and rewritten. And this is where it starts to get really, really interesting.
Okay, let's break this table down because there's a lot going on here. You can see the weight for income distance. That's basically a safety net to help out poorer states. It's been tweaked down a bit. Population gets a little bump up, area gets a little bump down. But the real game changer, the most crucial part, is what's missing and what's brand new.
And here it is. This is the single biggest philosophical shift in the whole report. Before, there was this little 2.5% slice for states that were trying hard to collect taxes, even if they had small economies. It was like the commission was saying, hey, we see you trying, here's a little something for the effort. Well, that's completely gone now. And what's replaced it? A massive 10% chunk for contribution to GDP. The message now is crystal clear. We don't really care how hard you tried. Show us the money. How much did you actually add to the national economy? That's what gets the reward now. It's a huge policy shift from rewarding effort to rewarding the outcome, and it's a direct boost for industrialized states and a brand new challenge for everyone else.
Okay, so we've taken the engine apart. Now let's see what happens when we turn it on. What does this new reality on the ground actually look like? Who wins, who loses? How does this actually hit the bank accounts of the states?
And the results are, well, they're pretty telling. Look at Uttar Pradesh, the biggest state by population. Its share dips just a tiny bit. But then you look at the industrial powerhouses. Gujarat gets a nice bump. Haryana gets a really big jump. You can see that new GDP rule really working for them. But hey, it's not all one-sided. Check out Kerala, which had a big drop last time around. It bounces back nicely. And Karnataka gets a pretty significant boost too.
Okay, so that's the whole tax distribution puzzle. But hang on, because that's only half the story. There's another huge bombshell in this report. When it comes to grants and aid, the commission didn't just rearrange the furniture. They basically flipped the whole table over.
Yep, you're seeing that right. 3 major types of grants? Gone. Wiped off the map entirely. Revenue deficit grants, sector-specific grants, and state-specific grants. But that first one, that's the big one.
Look, getting rid of the revenue deficit grant is a huge deal. In simple terms, it means the center is no longer going to bail out states that spend more than they earn. That's it. The days of getting an allowance from Delhi to cover your budget shortfall, they're over. The new mantra is stand on your own 2 feet.
So you're probably asking, okay, if they're not plugging budget holes, where is all that money going? We're talking about almost 9.5 lakh crore rupees here. Well, the commission has a very specific new target, rebuilding governance from the bottom up.
And the money is now super focused on just 2 things. The lion's share, we're talking nearly 8 lakh crore, goes directly to local governments. So your village panchayats, your city councils. And the rest? That's for disaster management. But here's the catch. This isn't free money. Oh yeah, there are some serious strings attached, and they're all about forcing real change. Before a state can even touch this money, they have to check 3 boxes. Set up their local bodies correctly, get their accounts audited and publish them for everyone to see, and form their own state finance commissions on time. It's all designed to force transparency and accountability right at the grassroots level. And they're also looking ahead, which is pretty cool. They've created 2 brand new grants aimed squarely at our growing cities. The first is a big pot of money, over 56,000 crore, for cities like Pune and Jaipur to build modern wastewater systems. And the second one is really clever. It's an urbanization premium. It's basically a reward for states that actually plan ahead for their cities getting bigger, instead of just letting them sprawl out of control.
Okay, so we've covered the money, how it's divided and how it's granted, but the commission wasn't done. They also drew up a pretty strict roadmap to get everyone's finances in order, and that means everyone, the center and the states.
And these targets are no joke. They're telling the center to get its deficit down to 3.5%, while states need to stay at 3%. But what's really important is that the commission got super tough on a sneaky accounting trick governments sometimes use to hide how much debt they're really in.
Yeah, they didn't mince words about this off-budget borrowing thing. This analogy is perfect. It's basically like running up a secret credit card that your family has no idea about. The commission's take? Stop now. Put everything on the books so we can all see it. It's a massive push for just, basic honesty in accounting.
And finally, the report points to 3 massive areas that need a complete overhaul. Number 1, get serious about privatizing those state electricity companies that are always losing money. 2, take a hard look at subsidies and cash handouts. And number 3, get this, shut down the 308 state-owned companies that are basically zombies. They exist on paper but do nothing. It's a huge call for states to finally clean house.
All right, let's wrap this up. What's the bottom line? That headline number, 41%, looks the same, but don't be fooled. The formula underneath is a complete game changer, shifting from rewarding effort to rewarding cold, hard results. The safety net of bailout grants? Gone. Instead, we have money with strings attached, all pushing for better local government. And on top of it all, a huge shove towards getting your financial house in order.
And all of this leaves us with a really big, kind of tough question. With this new system, no more bailouts and big rewards for the biggest economies. Are we heading for a future where the rich states just get richer and the developing states are left scrambling just to keep up? It's a whole new ballgame out there, and it makes you wonder, in this new, more competitive India, how are states going to have to change their playbook to win?